I have some news today that is going to hit every Cleveland Browns fan right in the gut. And frankly, it changes the entire landscape of our offseason operations. It is the kind of update that requires us to take a step back and look at the cold, hard facts of how NFL coaching searches actually operate. I am talking about the definitive report that John Harbaugh is no longer an option for the Cleveland Browns. Before I dive into the deep technical analysis of why this happened and what it means for the future of the franchise, I need you to do something for me. If you want the most reliable, in-depth Browns coverage and technical breakdowns, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and give this video a like. Also, I want to hear from you directly. Drop a comment down below and tell me which city you are watching from. I love seeing how far the Dog Pound reaches across the country. Now, let's look at the situation with John Harbaugh. For weeks, there was this lingering hope, this strategic idea that the Browns could pull off the ultimate coup and bring in a Super Bowl-winning veteran to stabilize the ship. But as of 4 hours ago, those doors have been slammed shut. When I look at the mechanics of this, it tells me a lot about where the Browns stand in the eyes of elite coaching candidates. This isn't just a simple no. It is a total removal from contention. This is a massive blow to the front office's primary strategy. I've spent a lot of time analyzing the coaching carousel, and usually when a name like Harbaugh is linked to a team, there is a level of mutual interest that fuels the rumors. However, the update we just received indicates that the Browns have been knocked out of the running entirely. This means the search has to pivot, and it has to pivot fast. Why was Harbaugh the target? From a technical standpoint, he represents absolute stability. He represents a culture that the Browns have been desperately trying to build for decades. When you look at his track record, his ability to manage a locker room and navigate the complexities of the AFC North is unparalleled. The Browns, playing in the toughest division in football, needed that specific expertise. By losing out on him, the team is essentially losing their plan A. I have to wonder if the front office, led by Andrew Berry, overestimated their leverage in these negotiations. It is one thing to have a vacancy. It is another thing to be the preferred destination for a coach who can essentially pick his spot in the league. The technical fallout of this is significant. When a team loses its top candidate, it often leads to what we call a panic hire, or a significant delay that allows other teams to scoop up the best remaining talent. I am looking at the list of available coordinators and second-tier candidates, and none of them carry the same weight as a John Harbaugh. This is a moment where the internal scouting of coaching talent becomes just as important as scouting players. If the Browns cannot secure an elite name, they have to find the next big thing, and that is a much higher risk proposition. I've seen this play out many times in the NFL. When the big fish gets away, the pressure on the remaining options intensifies. Furthermore, we have to talk about the roster implications. Players like Myles Garrett and the veteran core of this defense were likely looking for a leader with that specific pedigree. When you tell a locker room that you are going after the best and then you fail to land him, it can affect morale. I am not saying the season is lost, but the immediate boost in credibility is now off the table. I have analyzed the Browns' structure for years, and they are a team that needs a strong, singular voice at the top to manage the egos and the expectations. Without that, the technical execution on the field often suffers because the vision is not clear from the head office down to the sidelines. We are talking about a total organizational shift. If Harbaugh was the man they wanted, they were likely prepared to give him a level of control that they might not offer to a younger, less experienced candidate. This rejection suggests that either the Browns were not willing to go far enough, or the candidate saw something in the structure that he did not like. Either way, it leaves the franchise in a very precarious position as they search for a new direction in a very competitive AFC North environment.
Continuing this analysis, we have to look at what the Cleveland Browns do next. Now that John Harbaugh is officially out of the picture, the spotlight shifts directly onto Andrew Berry and the ownership group. I've always said that in the NFL, your second choice often defines your legacy more than your first. If they can find a candidate who brings a fresh, modern offensive scheme or a defensive mastermind who can maximize the existing talent, they might still salvage this search. But the technical reality is that the pool of sure things is incredibly small right now. The search now enters a phase of high-intensity vetting. When you are knocked out of contention for a guy like Harbaugh, it usually means there was a fundamental disagreement on either control, compensation, or the long-term vision of the roster. As an analyst, I look at the Browns' cap situation and their draft capital. It is possible that a veteran coach like Harbaugh looked at the constraints in Cleveland and decided the path to a championship was easier elsewhere. This is a hard pill for the fans to swallow, but it is the technical truth of the business. Coaches at that level want total alignment, and if they do not see it, they walk away from the table. So where does that leave the search committee? They have to reevaluate their primary target immediately. This isn't just about finding a coach, it is about finding a fit for a very specific window of contention. The Browns have talent, but they are in a division where you have to be near perfect to win. I believe they will now have to look toward the collegiate ranks or high-upside coordinators who are looking for their first big break. It is a shift from proven winner to potential star. I have seen this work for teams like the Rams, but I have also seen it fail spectacularly when the infrastructure isn't there to support a young coach. The technical depth of this search will now focus on scheme fit. If the Browns were looking for a specific leadership style, they might look for someone with a similar CEO-style background. If they decide to go in a completely different direction, we could see a complete overhaul of the offensive philosophy. This is the danger of losing your top target. Your entire identity for the next 3 years is currently up in the air. I will be monitoring the interview schedules closely because the next few days are critical. The Browns cannot afford to let this search drag on while other teams finalize their deals. In summary, the news that John Harbaugh is no longer an option is a significant setback for the Cleveland Browns. It forces the front office to pivot away from a slam-dunk hire and into the much more uncertain territory of developmental or coordinator-level candidates. This is a moment that will test the leadership of Andrew Berry and the resilience of the organization. They had a vision of a veteran-led powerhouse, and now they must construct a new vision on the fly. It is a technical challenge that requires precision and a deep understanding of the coaching market. I will continue to bring you every update as this story develops, providing the technical breakdown you won't find anywhere else. I have analyzed many coaching searches in my time, and the ones that succeed after a major rejection are the ones that stay disciplined and do not reach for a candidate just to fill the void. The Browns need to be smart here. They need to analyze the data, look at the coaching trees, and find the person who can maximize this roster's potential. To make sure you do not miss any of this critical coverage during the coaching search, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Thank you for watching my analysis, and stay tuned as we follow the Browns' next move in what has become a very complicated and high-stakes offseason.